Welcome.
Types of welding processes. In this video, we will learn what is welding, and the different types of welding processes, our classification of welding processes. What is welding? Whenever we want to join two metals together, we use welding. In short, it is the method of joining metals together. This joining of metal is permanent. During the welding process, we make use of heat. In some cases, both heat and pressure are used to join metals together. Also, during the welding process, we can make use of filler material. The function of the filler material is to fill the gap between the two metals being joined. This use of filler material depends on the situation. Let's see the different types of welding processes. Welding is broadly classified into two categories. That is fusion welding and pressure welding. Under these two categories, there are different types of welding processes. Let's first understand what is the difference between fusion and pressure welding. In the fusion welding process, for joining the metals together, the metals are heated up to their melting point and allowed to fuse. In this process, there is no use of any pressure. Whereas, in the pressure welding process, we make use of external pressure along with some heat to join the metals together. Generally, the heat used during this process is below the melting point of the metals being joined. Here, there is a plastic deformation of the metal, and due to external pressure, the joining of the metal occurs. Let's see how fusion welding is further categorized. Under fusion welding, we have, first, arc welding. Second, oxyfuel welding, which is also known as gas welding. Third, laser beam welding. Fourth, electron beam welding. These laser beam welding and electron beam welding, collectively, are also named power beam processes. Fifth, thermite welding. Especially, this arc welding process is greatly used. Arc welding is further classified into different types. In arc welding, the main fundamental concept is that an electric arc produced creates sufficient heat to melt the metal so that it can fuse. Before moving on, if you are new to ADTW Learn, click on the subscribe button so that you keep getting all my latest videos. Let's see the classification of arc welding. The most commonly used method in arc welding is shielded metal arc welding, shortly called as SMAW. It is also known as stick welding. The second method is gas metal arc welding, shortly called as GMAW. In this welding process, if the gas used for shielding is an inert gas, in that case, it is called metal inert gas welding, shortly MIG welding. If instead of inert gas, CO2 is used, in that case, it is called metal active gas welding, shortly known as MAG welding. In general, this welding is called GMAW, that is, gas metal arc welding. Because, here we are making use of gas for shielding purposes. Third, we have gas tungsten arc welding, shortly called as GTAW. It is popularly known as TIG welding. Fourth, we have the submerged arc welding process, shortly called SAW. Here, the arc is submerged in the flux to protect the metal from the atmosphere during welding. The next method of welding is flux cored arc welding, shortly known as FCAW. Here, there is flux in the filler material. The next method of welding is plasma arc welding, shortly known as PAW. And at last, we have carbon arc welding. Therefore, these are the different types of arc welding processes. These are the classifications of the fusion welding processes. If you want to know each welding process in detail, I have created animated videos on each type of welding process. You can find the link for the videos on the I button or in the description of this video. Next, we will see the classifications of pressure welding processes. The most common welding processes under pressure welding. The first method is resistance welding. Resistance welding is the most popular welding process. This welding is largely used in automobile industries. The next process of welding is the friction welding process. Third, the diffusion welding process. Fourth, the ultrasonic welding process. Fifth, cold pressure welding. Sixth, explosion welding. And seventh, the forge welding process. These are the different types of pressure welding processes. Here, the resistance welding process is further categorized into different types. Classification of the resistance welding process. First, spot welding. Second, seam welding. Third, projection welding. 4th, butt welding. 5th, flash welding. And 6th, percussion welding. These are the different types of resistance welding processes. I have made a separate animated video on each of the welding processes, which you can watch to understand the welding process in detail.
Thank you very much.